Hi book besties, welcome to or welcome back to the channel. If you guys are seeing my face for the first time, hi, my name is Maya and I like to talk about books here on the internet. Today's video is going to be an unhaul, which is surprising to me because one, I moved, so I shouldn't have so many books. Like, if I'm looking right next to me, there are 2 stacks of books. They're decent sized stacks, but 2 stacks of books. I did not think that that was going to be possible. For context, I moved into my apartment in January. I needed to get rid of some books for space and everything. So I already had to do that at the month of January, and I did like what I thought to be a vicious unhaul because there were 2 full boxes, guys, 2 full boxes plus some to give to a secondhand bookstore that I go to, Bookman's, where they search through all of like the titles and stuff, see what they want to keep, see what they don't want to keep, whatever they didn't keep. I immediately took to Goodwill, which was a building over. Perfect setup. They knew what they were doing. And so that was what happened. And so then I was like, you know, I've been getting some new books. Let me see how many books I don't actually want to read, will never read, are there on my TBR because booktube, book talk, bookish community, peer pressure that is non-existent, and it's just an excuse for me to buy things that I didn't even think to read about to see if I would want to read. Books that I may have tried and just couldn't get through, but convinced myself I could give a second try, or it was pretty, you know, something like that. So I have 2 decent stats right next to me, and that is so confusing to me because I'm like, we're only a couple months in. I know I was vicious with it, but dang, that's a lot of books. But now we have books and now we have a video, so let's get into said books and what we're gonna do with them. Actually, let me tell you what I'm gonna do with them. So I'm gonna do with them the same thing that I do with all my other unhauls that I never filmed, is give it to the secondhand bookstore, Bookman's, allow them to take whatever they want, whatever they don't want, which is inevitable. There's always a book, but you know, every time I come in with like a box, they get half of it, then I'll give it to Goodwill. Let's just dive right in. What if this is writing exercises for fiction writers, and I bought this because I was convinced that I was going to be a full-time author, that I was going to, you know, go through school and just start writing and that would be all. Poor naive little girl. Hopefully it'll make a writer happy. Romeo and Juliet, an edition that I didn't even know I had, but I mean, Romeo and Juliet is sweet. I had to read it for class. Don't need to pick it back up again. Love Shakespeare, love the theater of it all, but don't need to own it. Oh, this one, okay. Stay. This is, yeah, it says it on the title. It's a history of suicide and the philosophies against it. I remember I used this as one of my references for a report that I was doing. I was heavily on the topic of the S word because I had those types of ideation. I had that ideation. This was a good book to reference, and that paper, I think, healed a little bit of something in me as well, and just, you know, made me think through some things. So yeah, anyway, wow, didn't think I was gonna get that deep with it. But then we have The Great Gatsby by F. Scott Fitzgerald, and it's a classic. I actually do like this book. I have reread it. I had to read it actually for a college class, and then I read it a couple more times. This was actually in one of my book to movie adaptation classes. This was one of the first that I read, and it was very interesting, the analytical points that were made for both the book and the movie adaptation, and the things that we had to learn through those 2 works, and it was really cool. But also I needed space. I'm I don't feel like I may pick up that book again, or if I do, maybe I would get a different version. I don't know. Next up, we have The Fever Code by James Dashner. This is like after the series of the Maze Runner. Well, let me be more specific. Was written after the Maze Runner's trilogy, but it's pre-Maze Runner days. I did read all of them, of the entire series. This is the only hardback book that I own, so if I was gonna get this, I would try and see if I could get it in paperback. If I can't, don't need it for the collection. Okay, then we have The Inheritance Games by Jennifer Lynn Barnes. My goodness, have I heard a lot about this book. I have heard that it is about a young woman who received an inheritance from an older man who chose her to be the inheritor, but not his actual relatives, and this sets off a chain of events. Mostly at the seat of it all is jealousy, and will their jealousy maybe end her, basically. I don't know if that's actually accurate or not. I don't know. I like the appeal of the concept, but I tried to read it and I got a little bit of the way in and just could not finish it. In fact, I wonder if I have a bookmark in here. Nope, I don't see it, but tried it. Did say that I would pick it up again for another TBR, I think, actually. And I didn't, so I think that says something. So for me, it says, unhaul it. If you get back to it, you get back to it. It's always there. You can always purchase it again. 10,000 Doors of January, my, by Alex E. Harrow. I remember this book, not for the best reasons. I tried reading this, and I remember getting so mad about something that this one character did. And I don't even remember which character it was. I distinctly remember two characters, an FMC and maybe an MMC, I'm not entirely sure, but I think it was a daughter and a father dynamic, potentially, I'm not entirely sure. But I remember being so mad and so upset with it because I saw Books and Lala read this book. And because she touched the book and said that she was reading it, I of course had to get it. But then I actually picked it up and then I read it. No, I was very, very disappointed. I DNF'd it like a couple chapters in. Oh, look at that. It's on the page 58. What is that? Is that even... What chapter is that? I can see 2 pages into chapter 1. Okay, so I must have read but there was a lot before that. So is that like a part 2? It must be. It must be like chapter 1 of part 2, because like look at, that's a lot of pages to just be chapter 1. I DNF'd it, never got back to it. So that's got to say something. And that says unhaul. The Weston Game by Ellen Raskin. I actually really enjoyed this. I grew up reading this. Actually, I think the first time I read this ever was in 5th grade, and I saw Books and Lala doing a series of reading books from her childhood. So I of course bought The Weston Game, Charlotte's Web, and I believe a Nancy Drew book, and I started to try and find other books as well from my childhood that I remembered, because I didn't remember by year or by age. I remembered kind of like by era almost of reading, but this was one of them. And while I appreciate this story, I don't need to keep it. It's kind of not anything that shaped me. It was just something that I remember reading. No sentimentality there. Unhauled. Oh, yikes. Furthermore, by Tahira Mafi, this was an Alice in Wonderland retelling. I do remember this one, vaguely. I knew enough about the Alice in Wonderland retelling part, but if I remember correctly, our female main character is trying to find her father who disappeared, and everyone thinks he died, but he didn't really die, and he went to this other world, and now she has to go into this other world to find him, and she meets this boy here along the way, or does she already know him and he comes with her? One of the two. And so they go on the adventure to find her father. It was, from what I remember, I think I liked it and it was interesting, but not enough to, keep it. And, so I'll just I'll let someone else enjoy that reading experience. This next one, don't come for me with pitchforks and torches, even though you totally can in the comments. Not in real life. Okay. Miss Peregrine's Home for Peculiar Children. Yes, I know. I got this because Jesse from Jesse the Reader read it, and he loved this series. I can't pick it up. Like, I've tried so many times. Do you know how many times I tried and wished I could? Even after the movie, especially after my literature to film adaptation courses. Prime opportunity, couldn't take it. Unhauled. Pile number 2, and already I'm starting with something that I may regret here, but Silk by Caitlin R. Kiernan. Yeah, I just couldn't get into it. The world is confusing. I can't even explain it to you because I don't know what I was reading. And the back of the book doesn't really feel like it is the explanation, but it also does feel like the only explanation that could be had for this world, and I don't know what else to tell you. So, yeah. Getting rid, moving on. Well, if you guys aren't going to kill me for Miss Peregrine's Home for Peculiar Children, you guys are definitely going to kill me for this one. But, here it goes. These 3 books. What do we got? We got The City of Bones. City of Bones by Cassandra Clare. We got City of Ashes by Cassandra Clare. Oh, look at that. With my least favorite character on the cover. Lovely. And then we have City of Glass by Cassandra Clare, and he's mid for me. Not like as a character, but just not like as a character in like the Shadowhunter series, like the TV series, but like in just the books. He was mid. He was eh. A lot of them were meh. Clary, I definitely disliked, and the only one that I truly liked, maybe apart from Simon, I don't know, Simon was quirky, he was alright, he was a little bit better than average, was Magnus friggin' Bane. We love him, we stand him over here. Anyway, so, yeah, oh, let me take out these sticky notes, so that I have anywhere to look but at you guys right now, because I don't want to see your look of disappointment and hurt. But, yeah, I can't keep these books. I can't. Like, I tried to read this book, I kid you not, right before COVID. So Gabby from Gabby Reads hosted a backlist readathon back in 2020. And I was participating in that backlist readathon. And I was actually participating with Charlotte's Web. I remember reading Charlotte's Web, and then I went on to this one. And I don't know if this was considered backlist at the time. I don't even know when this came out. When did this come out? 2015. Okay, yeah, this is backlist for 2020. So I read this. I was so upset with Clary. I don't even know if I finished it, to be honest. I'm sure I did. Yeah, I think I finished this. I can't in good conscience continue with these 2. I just can't. I almost want to power through just being annoyed for the sake of the TV show. However, I need to get out of the mindset that I need to read the books before I watch the movies or watch the TV shows, because at the end of the day, sometimes the movies are just better. Alrighty, moving on. The Gravity of Us by Phil Stamper. I actually really liked this. I enjoyed this. I think I even might have, in my younger self, given this a 5-star or a 4-star. I don't know. I gave this above average. It was definitely a great reading experience. I loved it. And if I remember correctly, this was following the story of 2 boys figuring out life in a world where their parents were working on a space project. So they were in close proximity to each other. They kind of knew each other's lifestyles and how it was different than, you know, growing up outside of base and whatever. So they had each other through that. So I think that is really cute. Someone else would really like it, but I'm probably not gonna read it again, and I don't know if it's worth keeping on my shelves at the moment. So same with Autobiography by Christina Lauren. I remember there, oh wait, hold on, a Christina Lauren book. Oh, love that for me. I've heard of her often in the bookish space, especially, you know, old booktube. When I say old booktube, I mean like 2017, 2018 era. I heard Christina Lauren a lot. So I love that I read one of her books without even knowing. Actually, that's probably why I read this book, to be honest. I really liked this book. I think, again, we're following two male main characters, and I think this is a setting of a Mormon school, if I believe correctly, and there's religious undertones within it. And being that, you know, I am Christian, I thought the religious undertones were handled well, though I'm not gonna like speak for Mormonism because that is a different branch than what I know. So I'm not gonna say like, oh, this follows it perfectly, because I don't know. So I'm not gonna speak on that, but I thought that the religious conversations surrounding these two and their relationship, I thought that was very interesting. So, you know, to anyone who would like to read that, I would actually recommend this. I think I gave both of them 4+ stars. I think I gave them both 5, if I'm being honest, but I'm not entirely sure, so I'm just gonna safely say it was at least 4, because I know it was at least 4. All right, then we have Queen of Hearts by Colleen Oakes. This is a different telling of the Queen of Hearts from Alice in Wonderland, and I think I might have been going through an Alice in Wonderland phase, because I read this very shortly after I read Furthermore, and now with the new Descendants coming out, Descendants 4, which I have not seen yet, but I like to see that there is the Queen of Hearts daughter, because that means we might get a little glimpse into the world of Wonderland. And I feel like Wonderland is, yes, it's adjacent to all of the fairy tale lands, but like it's its own separate thing with its own rules. So I would love to see how they really use that in Descendants. And specifically with like the Queen of Hearts is royalty in her own right, but she is also definitely on the evil side, even in Alice's story. So I just, you know, I just want to see it. I want to see how it plays out. But Queen of Hearts, this one was darker than I expected, if I remember correctly. She was hated by her father, and she grew up feeling that hatred by her father, and I think it was because of something surrounding her mother. I'm not sure if the mother was deceased and the king blamed her for it or something like that or whatever, but I think the mom was out of the picture for some reason. The king was not happy with her, hated her, I think to the point of wanting her dead. Oh yeah, the mother I think was dead, because then the father I think remarried, which is how we got the other girl that was like the other sister, and so she was getting compared a lot. The father didn't really like her, but she was his heir, his surviving heir, so like he couldn't really do much about it. And then we also get to see one of the soldiers, question mark, or soldiers to be, who is her friend and potential love interest. But of what I remember of the story, it was really good. But also, this was a part of a series, so there was a second book that went along with it, but too much time has passed to where I didn't get the book. I don't particularly care anymore, so yeah, I'm just gonna give the book to someone who may care a little bit more and continue on with the series. And if you guys have read the second book in the series and have enjoyed it, let me know if you have, because that's not spoilery for me at all. Last but not least, Pan's Labyrinth by Guillermo del Toro and it's that ring that's throwing me off. Cornelia Funk, I believe. And this is The Labyrinth of the Fawn. I hear there is a movie adaptation of this, and we're following along Pan. I think it's the Greek myth, if I'm not mistaken. He's Greek, right? Or is he? Oh, geez. I just removed the entire cover. Oh, that's pretty. Happy accidents lead to amazing discoveries. Ooh, that's a quote. I like that. Alrighty. but someone else probably came up with it first, so I'm not even going to claim it as original. This book is not for the faint of heart or weak in spirit. It's not for skeptics who don't believe in fairy tales or the powerful forces of good. It's only for brave and intrepid souls like you who will stare down evil in all its forms. Inspired by the critically acclaimed film written and directed by Oscar winner Guillermo del Toro and reimagined by New York Times bestselling author Cornelia Funk, this haunting tale takes readers to a darkly magical and war-torn world filled with richly drawn characters, including trickster fauns, murderous men, child-eating monsters, courageous rebels, and a long-lost princess hoping to be reunited with her family. Perfect for fans of the movie and readers who are new to Del Toro's visionary work alike, this atmospheric and absorbing novel is a portal to another universe where there is no wall between the real and the imagined. A daring, unforgettable collaboration between two brilliant storytellers. Well, that's great, but is Pan like Greek or Roman myth? I don't know. He's part of a myth. Pan's Labyrinth. He is a mythical creature, and he is a part of one of the two Greek or Roman myths, I'm pretty sure. So, I mean, their myths get intertwined a lot because their empires kind of piggybacked off each other in many ways. So this is very interesting. You know, listen, every time I read the summary, it makes me want to read it. But then I never actually pick it up. So that says something. So this has been on my TBR for quite a while. I think I'm just gonna unhaul it. If you guys see any books that you think I should just really take a chance on and really prioritize, I would be willing to maybe read them, unless it's the Cassandra Clare ones. Because I'm sorry, Clary annoyed me way too much. I'm not gonna do that. But if you think that maybe I should read this one, or if I should give this one a chance again, or this one a chance again, let me know. These are probably the only books I'd consider actually either reading and or keeping. You guys have a chance to, wait, this video goes up next week. You know what I'll do? I'll unhaul every book but those three, and you guys can get a chance to, you know what? I will, from the time the video goes up, I'll give it a week after that as well. Then that's when I will physically unhaul those books, because I literally have been saying this entire time, I'm going to be doing it next week, I'm going to be doing it next week. Girl, you're posting this next week. The week following, I will. Alright, so that is the unhaul. So thank you guys so much for watching and for taking the time out of your day. And as always, thank you guys so much for being the best bookish besties that ever was, is, or ever will be. And I'll be seeing you guys in the next video. Bye!